Man, you blossomed early. You wrote your first screenplay at Warner Brothers when you were 18 years old, one on one. How did that happen?
Yeah. One day I see an agent who's supposed to be working for me walking down the street, and he goes, "Hey, Robbie, how you doing?" And I went, "Well, you tell me." This isn't good.
Yeah.
And he went, "Man, things are really slow. It's that time of year." That sentence, "it's that time of year and things are really slow." I was like, wow, you don't want to hear that if you love to do things. And so what that meant was I would run more, I'd play more basketball, and I would write more. And I wrote on longhand. I didn't know how to type. So I wrote longhand on yellow pads, and I wrote 2 or 3 screenplays, and then wrote one-on-one, and was lucky enough to get a meeting. Like I did Ode to Billy Joe for Warner Brothers, and it cost $1 million. I think it cost 1.6. And so I went in and I showed them one-on-one, and they went, "Wow, this is kind of cool. And your last movie for us is doing really well." And so they said, "We like it." And I said, "I want to do a rewrite. I want to include my father." And they went, "That's great." And so my dad and I spiffed it up, and we ended up getting a go. I mean, it was just pretty phenomenal as a young man. And
Doing it with your dad.
I learned a lot about the world from work. It's an incredible way to grow up.
And you wrote Ice Castles too. Talk about that one.
I wanted to go back to New York, and there was a show that wanted me. They were doing a musical called King of Hearts, based on that great movie that came out of the UK. And anyway, so I went and I was working on King of Hearts out of town with a man named A.J. Antoon directing. He did, and he won a Tony for that championship season. And he was pretty brilliant. And I felt the show was going to be great. And the producer ended up firing my friends. And so I left the show, and I got a phone call from a man named Donald Rye. And I had made a movie with Donald called Death Be Not Proud. And he fought for me to get that part. And he called me and he said, "You owe me now. I want you to do this movie for me called Ice Castles." And I said, what do I have to do? And he said, "You have to skate." And I've never been on a pair of skates before.
Wow.
And he said, "Well, we're going to get you together with this speed skating coach for the New York Islanders. Her name was Barbara. And she taught me, in a matter of about 5 weeks, she taught me how to at least look like a hockey player. And I loved it. And I wanted to be a hockey player. And I cracked my hip.
Ooh.
But I said, "What's the story?" And he said, "It's about a young lady who hits her head and goes blind, and then you help her win the Olympics or something." And I went, "Really?" And he said, "Yeah." And I went, "Okay, I owe you." And we ended up having a wonderful time.